Should you work with a realtor? Well, in which market, right? Like every single video humanly possible that you ever put on your YouTube channel has to be hyper-local market specific. Video marketing is essential for real estate agents if you want to scale your business, create massive leverage, and have clients coming to you consistently for free that are not just any clients, but your ideal clients that turn into closed deals. However, despite every agent knowing that video is a necessity and should be a priority, there's common mistakes, 8 to be specific, that I see most agents making when it comes to video, which leaves them to feeling overwhelmed, struggling with it, and not taking any action. And what I want to do is I want to give you the blueprint of what you need to do going forward in order to make sure that you start to see tangible results from the content that you're putting out. So I'm going to break down these 8 specific mistakes that almost every agent makes who I see is putting out content but is not getting results. And that way you can avoid these in order to make sure that you're on the proven path to success. What's up, guys? My name is Mike Sherrard with eXp Realty. I train thousands of agents every day to scale their business the modern way, leveraging social media. And this is so important because video marketing is a hot topic, whether it be short form on TikTok, shorts and reels, whether it be long form on platforms like YouTube, even podcasting. Video is essential, but so many people struggle with it, and I want to make sure that that is not the case for you. So we're going to dive straight in and make sure that if you are falling victim to any of these 8 things, you stop it immediately, effective today going forward, so that you can start to see more tangible progress, momentum in your video content. Okay, so number 1 is going to be not understanding the proper format or the proper platform. This is one of the common mistakes I see people making, where they're not looking at which platform is going to be the right medium for their style of business or their personality. I'm here to tell you that I've helped agents do multiple 6, even 7 figures per year from YouTube, TikTok, Instagram Reels, YouTube Short. Like, it doesn't matter. I've helped people see massive success with all of it, but the ones that are seeing success are the ones that are doubling down on the platform that is the right fit for them and their style of business and personality. So you need to first understand, is your format, is your preferred medium of video content going to be longer format, vertical, horizontal, or landscape like YouTube, what we're doing right now? Or is it going to be more short form, vertical, portrait, in something like TikTok, Reels, Shorts, of that nature? And understanding the right platform is going to be imperative to making sure that you're channeling your focus into the right avenue, because I know a lot of people that started on YouTube and didn't really see the success they were looking for, transitioned over to TikTok, realizing that they like to be more playful and whimsical and shorter content to batch more and be more playful and creative with it, and they blew up. And I know other people that were relentlessly posting on TikTok, had no results, weren't getting viral views, went over to YouTube and started blowing up. So I think it's important to first start with the foundation of saying, what is the right video platform for me, so that you can start to channel your efforts into the right avenue. That leads to the second part, which is not having the correct length of content. Now, this is going to be a big one when it comes to YouTube or long form content. Let me explain. When you're looking at long form content like YouTube, it is a search-based platform. Number 2, owned by number 1, which is Google. So knowing that it's a search-based platform, people are coming here with the intent of getting a response or an answer to something. Oftentimes it's moving to your city, cost of living in your city, pros and cons of being there, and different things like that. Now, the one place I see a lot of people go wrong with long form content is they don't make it long enough. And they kind of do a blend between short form and long form, which is they're making like these 3 to 5 minute videos, sometimes even shorter. And let me explain what happens here is that when you are approaching long form content, you need to go in with the mentality that, let's say somebody's looking to move to Calgary, my city, and they're looking at 5 things that they need to know before moving to Calgary. Well, you need to make sure that by the end of that video, they get not only their answer, but they don't have to go look for another video, another blog, another article, or another piece of content to get the answer they're looking for. But where I see a lot of agents go wrong is they put out like a 3-minute video talking about the 5 things you need to know about moving to Calgary. Well, if you've got $750,000 in order to buy a house and you're relocating here from Toronto, do you actually think that you can make an informed decision of whether or not moving to Calgary is right for you and investing your $750,000 based on a 3-minute video? It's impossible, which is why you'll see the agents that are thriving with content related to the relocation, related to the property tours, that are going to be more along the 10, 15, 20, even 30-minute length. because that way they can get to the end of the video and not have to go search for another answer to get the answer they're looking for. The more you give, the more you get in return, and the more you pour into people, the more depth, the more clarity, the more value, the more they're gonna say, well, wow, that was shocking. I need to reach out to him or her because they just poured so much value into me. Whereas if you just tease and dangle a little carrot in front of them and give them half information, well, now they're even more confused, so they got to go research other people and reach out to other people. Now on short form, it's the opposite. Oftentimes people are putting out short form content that is too long. And what's happening is they're losing attention. They're not hooking people, and thus they're not getting results. So you really need to be mindful of the length of content to make sure that after you choose the right platform, you're putting out the right length that's actually going to lend itself to you seeing tangible success with your video marketing. Number 3 is a really interesting one, which is not creating content that people actually care about. I see this constantly on YouTube. People are putting out videos like, should you work with a real estate agent? Should you stage your home before selling? Like, I know that you think people care about that, but genuinely, I'm here to tell you based on data, nobody gives a shit about that. Nobody's looking for it. So when you look at this, what are people actually looking for based on data? They're earlier in the process, right? So they're looking at relocating to your market. They're looking at best communities in your market. They're looking for market report information on your market. So you need to actually look at the data and create content that people actually care about based on numbers, not based on assumption. Because all too often, I'll look at agents that are putting out content on YouTube, for example, and they're not getting any results. But they've been consistent, but they're not getting the results that they're looking for. And every single time I see that they're putting out content that falls into one of 2 traps. Number 1, their content is not market specific. It's something along the lines of like, should you work with a realtor? Well, in which market, right? Like every single video humanly possible that you ever put on your YouTube channel has to be hyper local market specific. Everything should be tailored toward your market. Otherwise, if it's generic, what if somebody's looking in Nebraska, in Toronto, in Vancouver, in LA? How do you know who it's for, right? You want people to come to you for your market. And the second thing is, again, content that genuinely just nobody cares about. And they're doing that because they think people want to know based on their educated experience as a realtor. But you have to understand the average buyer and seller is uneducated. So we need to dial it back, meet them where they're at, and make sure that we're actually putting out content that people care about. Number 4 is something near and dear to my heart, which is not thinking from the consumer's perspective. Now, this comes down to engagement. And when we look at getting more engagement on short form content, long form content, I will break down both because both apply to video. We'll start with long form. The audit that you have to do and the litmus test that you need to go through every time you put out a piece of content on YouTube, for example, is when you're about to upload your video. Let's say again, keep it consistent. It's the top 5 things you need to know before moving to Calgary. I'm going to search moving to Calgary or things you need to know before moving to Calgary on YouTube. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my thumbnail and I'm going to put it beside the top 3 ranking videos and say unbiasedly, if I didn't know who I was, would I click on my thumbnail or theirs? And if I would click on theirs, then how can I expect anybody to click on mine? And then I will watch those 3 videos in its entirety. And I will say, is their video actually more entertaining, educational, and valuable than my video? Well, if it is, then how can you expect anybody to engage with your content? So once you can start putting yourself into the consumer's shoes and say, I would click on my thumbnail, I would watch my own video, and it was actually pretty damn good, so I would reach out to me too, unbiasedly, that's when you're going to win, and that's when you're going to rank and have people reaching out to you. Same thing goes with short form content. Let's say you're putting out a video on TikTok and it's about this community versus that community, which one is better? Well, the question you need to ask yourself is that video good enough or engaging enough that you would not only watch the entirety of it, but you would like it? You would even go so far as to comment on it. You would save it or share it, and get this, you liked it so much you would even go click on the profile and follow them. Well, if you wouldn't do that on your own video, how can you expect anybody else to do on your content? And that's where you're going to start to win, is once you start to think from the consumer's perspective and not make the mistake that most agents do, which is thinking from their own bias perspective, that's when you're going to have a massive upper hand and competitive advantage and start to get a ton of people reaching out to you and consuming your content. Number 5 is overcomplicating the process. I see this all the time. You can see the lights behind me, in front of me, the decent camera, the expensive mic, and everybody's going to say, well, I can't do content until it looks like that, or I don't want to do it until it looks like that, or, it takes too much time. Well, I can tell you that anything takes time, but at the end of the day, you have to get started with something. And I'd much rather put out content and video content that I have fun with, that grows over time and lives forever, than have to call and door knock every single freaking day and hate my life, right? So when you start looking at this, you don't need to complicate the process. Use your phone, get a lav mic, rip off and duplicate what's already been proven to work by every other person. Go find somebody on YouTube that's done well with production on their YouTube channel, like any of the people that I've featured on my channel, and then go filter the videos by most popular and recreate every single one of them, but replace their market with your market. Or go on short form content and search by Realtor and look at all the content that's working the best and put your own spin on it with your market. It's really not that difficult. All that you have to do is look at what's proven to work, put your own spin on it, rip off and duplicate, make it better, and then look at your content through an unbiased lens and start to audit it to improve it over time. And that leads perfectly into number 6, which is inconsistent. Consistency is key, and if you're not consistent, you might as well not even start. And I've actually experienced this because there was one specific window of time, I think it was a 2-week window or 3-week window, a couple of years ago, where I didn't put out content. And I've never since then missed any of my 2 videos per week. And the reason being is because I saw a massive decline in my momentum just by taking 2 or 3 weeks off, and it was at Christmas time when I was traveling. I didn't batch my content properly enough, so I didn't have enough content and my channel dipped. And then ever since then it's gone back up, but it took a lot of time to build that momentum back up. So it's really important that when you get started with video marketing on any of these platforms, you have to go with the mentality that you're going to do it forever, and you're going to be consistent and stick to a cadence that allows you to not drop the ball. That might be 2 videos a week on long form, which I highly recommend. Might be 3 to 5 videos a week on short form, which I highly recommend to get started with. It's way better to increase the frequency over time than to decrease it. So it's really important when we start looking at applying video marketing to a real estate business that we actually do it with immense consistency and always looking to improve over time. And on the note of improving over time, number 7 mistake is agents making assumptions versus looking at the data. I see this constantly where people are putting out content consistently for actually a decent amount of time, and then they're saying, well, why isn't my channel growing? Well, are you looking at your analytics? Or why isn't my profile getting more views and things like that? Are you looking at the data? Because with me on YouTube, for example, every single week and every single month, I look at all the content that I put out and I say, which videos perform the best, which perform the worst. I'm gonna cut back those ones and double down on these ones. And which intros did the best, which did the worst, which topics, which genres. So when you start to look at the data and understand that what gets measured gets managed, that almost guarantees that you're gonna get better outcome when it comes to conversations, appointments, closed deals, and leads, because of the fact that you're leaning into the data that's proving where the right direction is for you to go. But where I see a lot of agents go wrong is they just throw spaghetti at the wall, see what sticks, and then keep doing that over and over and over, wondering why they're not getting any results when 80% of their content has been proven not to be engaged with their audience, and the 20% that is, they're not even putting out more content like that. And number 8, finally, is simply just not making it a priority. If you want full-time results from content, meaning that every client's coming directly to you, you're just putting out video content like many of the agents that have partnered with me at EXPR, and they're closing 7 figures per year in GCI, you need to treat it as a full-time job. If you don't make it a priority, you have no excuse to complain about not getting results. And what I mean by that as well is that I just put out 2-3 videos a week. Well, I only do that once a month. I sit here and I batch my month's worth of content. But I can tell you from experience that I never miss a single batching session. I don't care who wants to meet, what's going on. I am not missing my batching session for my content because it is a top priority. And here's the thing that people need to understand. You will always make time for your priorities. I have people all the time that will reach out to me and say, well, Mike, you don't have kids and you don't understand this, so like I can't do what you do. I'm like, okay, we'll go look at 100% of the agents I've featured on my channel that all have 2, 3 to 5 kids and are doing $1 million GCI without excuses, because you can either be a victim or a victor. two options. You can either have excuses or find solutions. There's no in between, right? So when you look at this, you really need to audit what are you making a priority in your business, because you will always make time for your priorities. And if you want to get success when it comes to video marketing and creating content has to be one of your top priorities. If you have any other questions about video marketing, just drop a comment below. I will respond to every single one of my comments, and make sure you just please smash that subscribe button, and I'll continue to put out content to help you scale your business exponentially with video. So thanks so much for tuning in as always, and we'll see you in the next one.